Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday to all of you. Today is Casing Tuesday, and that's the day when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. And I'm so glad that some of you are here with me live so that you can watch me create this card and ask me any questions you may have. I always love to have some people join me. It's a lot more fun for me to be able to interact with you. I hope the weather's beautiful wherever you are. We are having a sunny day right now, which is such a nice treat because we've had a lot of rainy days. This morning, after we finished our walk, I noticed that right along the side of our property, we have this whole mushroom fungi garden. I've never seen so many mushrooms and fungi here in my life. While some areas of the US and Canada are super dry, we are really quite wet. I'm not even sure how we're doing as far as our state goes, because in the past years, even though it hasn't felt super dry to me, we actually have been kind of in a drought situation, but I don't know that we're still in that situation because I feel like we've had like a lot of rain this summer. So hopefully those reservoirs are all nice and full, and that will be a good thing. And so anyway, but I'm happy to see the sun, and good morning, Dee. I'm glad you're here with me. So today, today's card is, I don't know if it would be, I would think that this one might be a little bit more challenging. So let's take a look at this card and break it down. So with this card, you've got this tag element here. Now that tag element, just think of that as an element. You could merge all of those tags into maybe one rectangular layer if you were having difficulty wrapping your brain around how to do that. I really like the tag idea though, so I actually did use the tags in my card. But if this presents a challenge to you, I would just, let's have a look at the sketch. Where's the sketch? Here's the sketch. So Amy, who does our sketches, she actually fleshed out all of those rectangular layers for you for the tags. So you could totally do that, but let me just point out, if I was a beginner, I would probably, of course, keep the base layer. The black layer is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I would keep the 3 3/8 by 5 1/2 layer. Do a tone on tone layer or throw some paper back there, and then I would, if this was going to be a challenge, I would do like a rectangular layer. See the biggest layer? It's about 3 3/8 inches by 1 5/8 inches. So make a layer like around about like that. You could do maybe round it up or round it down, do 3 1/4 by 1 1/2 in that space, or by 2, 3 1/4 by 2 inches. And then you'd have a nice little rectangular layer to add an image to or something. So that's definitely a possibility to make this sketch work a little bit more easily if you wanted to join us and share your card with us this week. We have a Facebook group, and you can find that below, and you can join our group and post your card on our challenge thread. And it's always great to see what you come up with, because people use different stamp sets, different dies, and it's amazing in the end how many different looking cards we have based on that original sketch. All right, I see a few more of you have joined me, so let's jump into getting into the card, and afterwards I'll chat with you, and if you have questions, please ask them along the way, or if something doesn't make sense, just let me know along the way, and I'll get back to them afterwards. And just one thing, my BOGO sale, tomorrow's the very, very last day of my BOGO sale. So if you're interested in getting some free retired products while placing a Stampin' Up order, you place a Stampin' Up order, and whatever value that amount is, you get to pick my retired products free. So if you place a $50 Stampin' Up order, you can place you can pick $50 of my retired stuff for free. I always encourage you to pick your free stuff first to make sure it's available. I have a few emails sitting in my inbox this morning that I haven't gotten to yet. So if you're one of those people, just be patient with me. As soon as this live is over, I'm going to go through those and make sure what you want is available so that you can do your sale order and everything. So just wait just another hour and I'll get to all of those emails that are waiting for me. Okay, let's jump in and do the card. All right, here is my card. Look at this card. It's a yellow card. I normally don't do yellow cards. In fact, I think almost all of my cards, probably 95% of my cards, have white on them somewhere. I do use a lot of white. I go through a lot of white cardstock, both the regular and the thick cardstock. And here is a completely yellow base card. There is no white on this card at all, which is so unusual for me because I have a bit of a yellow phobia. I think when I do yellow cards, I feel like the cards look a little bit jaundiced. And for whatever reason, I have a hard time with yellow card bases. But I thought I would try it this time because I thought the yellow really looked nice with the fresh freesia and the pool party, and it made it look like a really, really happy card. The other thing, so I stamped happy birthday and they're kind of hidden, but the only tag that is actually glued down right here is the birthday. So you can actually spread out these tags and see like the birthday underneath and the happy, so I just kind of left them like so they were free floating. They are attached right here by this ribbon. So they are kind of, they're not going to come flying off the card, but that's the way I did the card. So I kind I like the way that turned out. I don't know, it looks kind of different and neat. So I'm going to show you how I made this. All right, we need to do some die cutting and some embossing. So let's get out the first layer that we're going to need. This is a piece of So Saffron, and it measures 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm going to use the Checks and Dots embossing folder, and this is the Dots embossing folder. And we also have a Checks embossing folder. There's 2 little embossing folders, and this is, I labeled it 2 of 2. This would be the Dots one. So we'll get our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and then we're going to need some Pool Party cardstock, fresh freesia, and Sahara sand, and we're going to cut our tags out of that. And we're going to use the Tailor made tags. This is going to be a really nice die set for Christmas if you wrap your Christmas presents. These are really nice sized tags. They nest, so they're different sizes. And these right here, if you know tags of the olden day variety, they used to use like a little reinforcer on the tag so that they wouldn't come off very easily. So you can also cut these little reinforcers on there and just add that as a little layer to your tags. I didn't use those this time, but you cut 3 or 4 at a time, so it makes it a little easier. You don't have to deal with little piddly dies. You just do a whole row of them at a time, so that makes it a little easier. Okay, let's grab the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I'm going to bring it in. I'm not going to raise my camera, but you can see, oh, my machine has dust on it. That's not good. All right, so the handle's over here on the side, and that's what I'm going to use to crank through the machine. But this is the core part of the machine. We're going to do the embossing first, so we'll need our base plate here. We'll leave our thin die adapter number 2 away for now, and we'll put one of the clear plates, and you just need to make sure the 3 1/4 inches is about as wide as this embossing folder is. So when I stick this in here, I just want to make sure that it's centered on those dots. And if you like, you can kind of make sure that you have the same amount of cardstock peeking out at the top and the bottom, so you're not getting like a half dot. And then once you've got that settled inside your embossing folder, the piece of cardstock, then you'll take another 3 plate, number 3, and run it through your machine. And look at these cute little dots. I definitely think everyone needs like polka dots or dots in their arsenal of embossing folders. So this one's a really nice one. The checks are also really cute. So dots are just happy and fun. So, all right, that is the first thing we need to do. And now we need to cut some tags. So let me scoot this back over here. I like to work left from right. We need now our thin die adapter. We need a cutting plate. And let's put in on our dies right here. And the biggest die is going to be Pool Party. The second largest one is going to be Flourishes. And then our smallest one is going to be Sahara Sand. One side had a little speck on it. Sometimes with Sahara Sand and crumb cake cardstocks, there are some natural specks in there, and so if you don't want to see the speck, turn your cardstock over. All right, so I've got number 1 base platform, number 2 die adapter, clear plate, cardstock dies, and then another clear plate. And then we're going to run these all through at the same time. All right, look how beautiful these tags are. They've got that little dotted detail on them. They're so pretty. So, you know, you just know that these will make really nice Christmas tags too, right? Okay, so let me sort this out. Drop my tags on here, dies, so that I don't lose them. And I'll get rid of this embossing machine. All right. Okay, so we've got our little tags. And now we need to stamp them. And I'm going to use the Biggest Wish stamp set. This stamp set caught my eye right at the beginning of the catalog. This is in the annual catalog. And I really like it because it has really big words. And you've probably heard me talk before. I spend a lot of time on my cards, and I'm not a great inside the card kind of writer. So I really always look for like big words, like big happy birthdays. That means I don't have to write quite as much because I make the cards and you know, send out a lot of them, but I run out of steam by the time it comes to writing them. So if you're like me, this is a really good stamp set, and I like the way that all of these will coordinate together. Look, you've got a scripty happy and a bold happy. All of these words that are in bold up at the top are repeated as like a written font. So you can mix and match, and it makes it look really nice. So let's start off with Coastal Cabana. This is Pool Party cardstock, but when I stamp Pool Party on top of Pool Party, it's a little bit too light. So Coastal Cabana is just a little darker, so your words are going to show up a little better. So I'm going to take my birthday step, and this is mounted on a D block. Just tap, tap, tap. And I want this one to kind of be down at the bottom corner, so it's peeking out of all the different tags. So that's what it looks like. I kind of got it anchored down at the bottom there. Then we're going to grab Happy. Let's grab some Happy. And Fresh Freesia is one of our new in colors, and it is just a wonderful purpley pink. And this one, I think I'm going to stamp it. I'm looking at my card. I think I'll try aim for the top corner this time. Looks a little bit centered to me, but I think I was actually trying to get it closer to the top. So let's try and get it close to the top. And you notice like I always hold down my stamp just a little bit. That's just so the ink has time to sink into the paper and get a good impression. And I also give it a little bit of a wiggle, but not too much because you don't want it to, you know, create a shadow or anything, but just a little bit just to make sure that I've got good ink coverage on there. Just a tip if you're a newer stamper. I sometimes forget that people haven't stamped like me, and for me it's all in the muscle memory and I just do it naturally. All right, and then the last one is our friend stamp, and this color is Soft Suede that I'm stamping in. And this one I'm just going to get as far to the right as possible, and I'm going to line up the top of my D and the top of my F here, and just kind of make sure that looks straight. I just love this. It just looks so pretty. All of these little stamped images. Just so easy peasy. All right. Okay, we've got our tags. Let's bring in our polka dot layer and our card base. So I made a tent fold, so the fold is up at the top. And I realized that in the stamping world, we do tent folds. But in the real world, I had some friends over for my knitting group on the weekend, and I had a box of cards that with retired stamp sets on them, and I asked them if one of the ladies needed a card. So they were looking through them, and the tent folds, they just weren't used to cards with tent folds. So I have to remind myself that, you know, that's not as common a fold, but I like them for display purposes. I think they look really nice when they're standing up. So don't be scared to do a tent fold every once in a while. I like that look. You could do it side opening as well, but my card here is 11 inches by 4 1/4 and scored at the 5.5 inch mark. All right, so we're gonna add this layer first. And I'm using some Tombow here. Tombow is really good because it will keep your cards together. And I've got about 1/4 of an inch from the side right here. Just layer this on here. Press this down. Okay, so now we have to do the tag. And you want to attach the ribbon first before you adhere anything down, because otherwise it will not work so well. I think I'm trying to remember how much ribbon I used. I thought it was about 8 inches, but now I'm thinking that might have been a little bit much. Yeah, I think I'll cut myself an 8-inch length. That will probably work well. I want it to dangle off a little bit. So let me cut myself about 8 inches. This ribbon here is the Bumblebee Gingham, I believe. Bumblebee Gingham ribbon. It's like a really happy, wonderful ribbon. I recommend it. So let's fold the ribbon in half, and then we're going to feed it through all of the tags. So the Sahara one first, then the Freesia, and then the Pool Party. And when you've got that little loop like that, take the ends, straighten that out so it's centered, and pull them through that loop. Okay, so now I've got them all kind of stacked up, and I'm going to kind of push this ribbon so it hangs down like that. And then I'm just going to spread these out. Yeah, that will work. So just to kind of play with this a little bit, you want to see how this is going to fit on the card. You really only have to worry about the biggest tag here on the bottom. So just kind of play with that until you've got that tag situated. You kind of like the way it looks. And then come through, and I'm just putting Tombow on this bottom tag, not on the Freesia one, not on the Sahara one. You could if you wanted to anchor down everything. But now I'm just going to kind of match it up with the other one that I had here before. But if you don't have a sample right in front of you, you just want to make sure it fits across on the diagonal. And then just settle it down into place. And press it down. Okay, and so now these little guys here, they are free floating. And the ribbon can kind of free float too. You can take the ends and give them a little angle cut. And then I just added, these are in the annual catalog. They're called Loose Flower Flourishes. And I think this is even pale papaya, but when you stick pale papaya on here, it looks really close to So Saffron when it's not sitting right on there. When it's sitting off a bit, maybe not on camera, but in person, you can tell it's a slightly more orange. But I think when you do this, it looks pretty good on there. So I'm just gonna take, here, I don't need my paper piercing tool. I'll just take a mini glue dot and stick it on the back. I didn't get that quite centered. Rebel mini glue dot. And I'll just stick that on that top tag there. And another mini glue dot for this little yellowish flower. And pop that right here. Okay. And that's it. I'm done. I can't believe I'm done. I thought I needed to do one more thing. But there's the card. It's so cute, right? And it's a yellow card. I can't believe I made a yellow card that I actually like. Most yellow cards, after I make them, I don't really like them. But I've had this card sitting out for a day and I don't hate it. So that's a real big step for me in my yellow therapy, right? It's so cute. I'm glad. I'm glad that I made a yellow card that I like. Okay, I'm coming over to you guys. I don't know about you, but do you have like a color that you have a hard time working with? Is there a color that is your nemesis? Because I'm sure it's not yellow for everyone. It's yellow for me. I do like a yellow flower with a blue background, but yellow just as a main color is what really is the problem. I don't mind pops of yellow. I can work with yellow like that. It's just that main color is a yellow. Rarely have yellow card bases. Okay, let me just talk about a couple of things. We have a designer series paper sale going on right now, so you'll want to check that out. If you pop over to my blog, one of the banners down at the bottom of right after the supply list has a link to that designer series paper sale. So if paper is something that you love, go check it out. We have about a week left. It goes until August 2nd. So we just have a little bit more time left on that. And if you liked any of the supplies or need any of the supplies I talked about today, there's a link over to my blog and you just click on that and it links you to a full supply list. And you can choose either to get my host code gift of the month. There's a host code that I have, or you can choose to participate in my BOGO sale if you are wanting to double up on products. So you can find all that information over at my blog. If you just click on over, all the links are there for you. Okay, let's delve into the comments. Okay, good morning, Ellie. Ellie says July 2021 is the second most wet and cold on record for New York State, I think you're probably talking about. I'm not sure about Massachusetts, but I'm willing to bet that it's also, yeah, colder and wetter. But last couple of days haven't been too bad. Good morning, Connie. Good morning, Nancy from Georgia. Good morning, Cindy. Good morning, Janine. Cindy says, we are getting, we, meaning me, are getting the rain that you are missing. So I don't know where you live, but you must live in the western part of the continent in order. I know where my mom lives, it's very dry and hot and lots of forest fires in British Columbia. Good morning. Oh, good morning, Amy from Washington, and she's 99 degrees today. That's probably, well, I don't know if that's probably uncommon. You can get pretty hot on that side of the state though in the summer probably, but not generally so hot. Oh, Cindy, you're in Everett. It will be in the 80s. Nice. 80s is nice for the summer. I'm glad you like the card, Cindy. Cindy says that I may have sold her on the tag dice. You know what? Tags, we use a lot of them at Christmas, and we don't use a lot of them at other times of the year. I really liked the original sample. Let's go back to that. So there's another way to use those tags. You know, you've got the greeting on the front. I did 3 words on different tags, but notice on the blue tag, the pool party tag, they just shadow stamped acorns on there. And then on the back one, I think it's little leaves that they stamped on that back one, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, this could be a versatile little card. You could make it for many different occasions. The stamp set that they used on the sample is Banner Year, which I used last week. And I really like that as a kind of a generic stamp set too. Let me, okay. Dee said, so very cute. The colors are so cheery. I love the flower embellishments too. I often forget about the cutesy ones, but they add so much more than the gems or rosewood. Yes, that is so true. I always forget about the other embellishments. And what I've done now, because my brain sometimes forgets about all the embellishments, because I had them in a drawer and I forgot everything except I use a lot of rhinestones and pearls because they've been around forever and they're in my brain. But what I decided to do is I stuck all of my current embellishments in a little basket. So when I'm creating a card now, I usually look, I want it to have maybe some ribbon on it, so that took care of that. And I want it to have like a little bit of bling or an embellishment on it. So I try and make sure in my brain, ribbon makes it like long and pretty, tied in a bow, hang it, you know, tied in a knot, you know, just do something with the ribbon. It makes it look pretty. And then go into your little embellishment container and pull something out. You want some gilded gems, some elegant faceted gems, you know, what else do we have that's new and current? And so I look through my little thing here and see what matches the card. I don't really do it the other way around. I don't say, oh, I want to use the elegant faceted gems today. But it's nice to have a little basket or something that sits near you so you don't forget to add that extra little special something. When people see your card, they probably don't see the little tiny, you know, embellishments on it. But if you don't put them on there, your card won't look quite as pretty. So it's nice to have that overall look of the card with a little bit of ribbon, a little bit of embellishment. I don't go overboard. I'm not a big, crazy person that puts bling everywhere. I usually stick to like 1, 2, or 3, but it just like adds a little something to the card. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a great week. I will be back on Friday with a new tutorial. I'll do either a 3D or a fancy fold on Friday, and then the project sheet will go out on Saturday. But tomorrow is the last day of my BOGO sale. So if you're still interested, please email me. I'm going to go through my emails of people that are waiting to hear back from me this morning. That's what my next step is for today. And I'll get those all sent out. But if you're still looking for something, just send me an email and make sure you do that by Wednesday. All right, guys. Oh, let me just see. Oh, I got some more colors. Okay, I have to look at this real quick. Lori says yellow is her nemesis color too. Oh, she feels my pain. Yes, I'm happy that I made a yellow card. Lori, try and make a yellow card. Just do it. Okay, and Dee says her nemesis colors are gray tones. Ah, interesting. Grays are a neutral in my brain, so I don't know if I make a lot of gray card bases, but I don't really have a trouble with the grays. That's interesting though. Hello, Melinda and Marie. I'm seeing these comments that didn't come through all of a sudden. Oh, Dee says she keeps her embellishments in a basket too, right in front of the ribbons. Good idea. Yeah, I love that idea to just be able to grab them. That is absolutely what I do. Oh, and Ellie, you're welcome. I'm glad that the little basket idea helped you. We used to have embellishments in different containers, little round containers. A lot of, oops, I stepped on my cutting plates. A lot of our stuff used to come in this, and we used to sell a little round thing that goes around a little carousel. And back in the day, that was our embellishment holder. But when we didn't do that so much anymore, I only have a couple embellishments in these little containers. Then a little basket like this is just like really handy because you can flick through it really quickly and pick what you want. And you probably already have a basket somewhere in your room that you can use. So that is handy. All right, guys, I am going to sign off for now, and I hopefully will see you on Friday on my YouTube channel. Take care. Bye-bye.